Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe. Now let's get on with today's show. I just unpublished a number of my Kindle ebooks, and I plan to unpublish a few more in the weeks ahead. Why am I doing this? I had more recently published a book that addressed some of these older topics better and more succinctly than in a series of ebooks I had available. A couple of the other titles, while still relevant in most respects, were aging. Another title, though good information, was a bit off topic for me. None of them were doing particularly well sales-wise or on Kindle Unlimited. Some had been zeros for most of their book life, so letting these titles go won't impact my book income in any significant way. But unpublishing your books is an important decision. Here's what you need to consider. In current self-publishing terminology, unpublishing means that you no longer make your title available for sale to readers. If you are the rights holder to the book, you still own the copyrights. The book is not dead, it's just no longer offered. In the traditional publishing world, unpublishing would be similar to books that go out of print. The publisher still has the ability to print and sell and distribute them at any time, but for now, they've decided that the cost to continue printing and distributing outweighs the potential sales the book would generate. For nonfiction, the decision to unpublish a title would depend on the subject's relevance over time or its evergreen quality. For example, a book on how to use a computer software program might have a shelf life as little as a year for the software's current version. That requires an updated edition of the book. An argument can be made for keeping the older editions of the book available for those who have older versions of the software. But there's always the risk of confusing customers who may accidentally purchase the outdated book. Therefore, keeping only the current edition and maybe the next to last edition, if it's still widely used, then unpublishing the rest would be logical. Unpublishing fiction is a much more challenging decision. Based on current trends and public sentiments, fiction authors may be tempted to mess with their art and rewrite a previous book to make it more palatable to readers now. This can completely change the book into a different work. Some readers may want the original, but authors may be embarrassed to have their previous edition available and make the decision to unpublish the original. An unusual question came in through my blog about unpublishing a book on Kindle Direct Publishing, or KDP, for the purpose of republishing it. Apparently, the author was pleased with the early returns on the first publishing of the book, but saw the inevitable drop in sales. Remember, I've talked about before that waterfall sales cycle for books. So the thought was to pull it down, then republish it and put it up for sale again with the hope of experiencing a spike in sales. My answer to this is absolutely don't do this. Your try at gaming Amazon algorithms might come back to haunt you, and you don't want to put your KDP account in jeopardy. When I unpublished some Kindle ebooks that were in KDP Select, a pop-up warning alerted me that if I unpublished the title, I would not be able to publish or sell it elsewhere until the current KDP Select period had ended, even if the title was unpublished on KDP. Remember, KDP Select is a program that requires exclusivity to Amazon, and you get benefits such as free Kindle ebook promotions, Kindle countdown deals, and participation in Kindle Unlimited. If your intent in unpublishing on KDP and KDP Select is to switch self-publishing platforms, Make sure you are aware of your KDP Select enrollment dates and turn off the auto renewal of the title's KDP Select enrollment. If you've self-published several books on KDP and set up an author page on Amazon, you'll be disappointed to learn that any unpublished books will stay forever on your author page. This is extremely frustrating. Self-published authors basically have no control over what books Amazon will display to customers on their author pages. I've noticed that some outdated and unpublished books continue to appear in prominent positions on my author page, so I understand the frustration. So why do they do this? For ebooks, I don't really understand why. Maybe one day we'll figure it out. But for print, used copies of your unpublished book can be available through third-party sellers. So Amazon doesn't want to lose out on those sales, right? So the question comes up, why not just keep these books up, right? As I've talked about in the review of the 2018 self-publishing survey, having more books doesn't really mean you'll make more sales. So from that standpoint, it probably isn't going to do you any good. And as in my case, where a lot of these titles that I unpublished weren't doing anything anyway, it just kind of clutters up my offerings for readers. So that's why I decided to unpublish them and move on. Hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please rate, review, and subscribe to The Heidi Thorne Show on whatever platform you like to use for podcasts. I'm on all the major ones: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean. Pick your favorite, I'm probably there. If you like the YouTube video better, all you have to do is subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you get an alert when a new video is up. I would appreciate it if you would share either the video or the audio with your friends on social media. My self-published books, the ones that are still available, are on my Heidi Thorne author page on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is type in my name, Heidi Thorne. My author page will come up and you'll see all the available titles there. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is HeidiThorne.com, and I'm most active on the social media channels of Instagram and TikTok at Heidi Thorne. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.